One of the biggest remaining mysteries in modern medicine is sleep. On this show, we'll explore the latest advances in research and treatment for achieving better sleep. Japan is a world leader in cutting-edge medical technology and healthcare services. Join us as we explore medical frontiers. The discovery of a substance in the brain that controls sleep and wakefulness has led to new breakthroughs. Researchers in Japan are working on a completely new drug for sleep disorders. And experts are developing new forms of therapy. A clinic in Tokyo helps patients adopt lifestyle changes to overcome sleep problems.
爽やかな朝が来るって信じられるようになった。
We'll also show you a simple tool for sleeping soundly.
Yeah, this is much more comfortable.
Yes,
much more relaxed and much more comfortable.
An orthopedic surgeon developed it based on years of research. She's come up with a way to create a pillow that's just right for you.
If you come to Japan, you'd be surprised at just how many sleepy-looking people you'd see wherever you go. It's very common to see people nodding off in the train or in movie theatres or even during meetings, and many fall asleep as soon as their head hits the pillow at night. A lack of sleep can lead to reduced efficiency in the workplace and is linked to a number of health conditions and even traffic accidents. In fact, one estimate puts the economic cost of sleep shortage in Japan at more than 3 trillion yen, which is about $24 billion. You know, it's of course a huge problem not only facing Japanese, but also many people around the world. A number of different avenues of research are underway in Japan, one of the world's most sleep-deprived countries. This research is shedding light on the mysteries, on the mechanisms behind sleep, and is also uncovering clues for new ways to treat sleep disorders.
A research institute dedicated to the study of sleep was established in 2012 at the University of Tsukuba. It's a nationally funded institution with an annual budget of about $4 million. It has about 130 specialists from all around the world who conduct advanced research into the mechanisms of sleep. Some of them have been researching materials in food that can improve the quality of sleep. In one experiment, they reduced different foods to powder form and dissolved them in water. Then, they mixed each material and a reagent with human cells. They studied the reaction to see if a particular food could be effective in aiding sleep. Tests on 80 items suggested that a particular material held potential. It's a type of yeast used to brew Japanese sake. Researchers checked the brainwaves of test participants when they had consumed sake yeast and when they hadn't. The results confirmed its effectiveness in promoting sound sleep. The team has found other items that can also promote sleep. They include oysters, pig livers, and saffron.
The best thing about using food components is their safety. There are a variety of foods in different environments. Some have sleep-inducing effects that are known only locally. If we keep looking, we may be able to uncover more of them.
Pleasure to meet you. Eric Ungelt, lovely to meet you.
Masashi Yanagisawa heads the Research Institute.
Welcome to IIIS.
It's still a mystery why animals, including humans, sleep. Yanagisawa and his team are trying to solve that puzzle. They're studying mice and looking for changes in brain activity when the mice are asleep and when they're awake.
So this is a very special setup which we can use to live image activity of brain cells in mice during natural sleep and wakefulness. You see this flash of light, green cells make a flash of light.
Yes, the neurons, aren't they?
Yeah, those are actual, cortical neurons, which has some activities. Is this during sleep? Yes. Yeah, this is actually during natural sleep.
Yanagisawa says getting a clear picture of how the brain works during sleep could help researchers figure out what to focus on in treating sleep disorders. He and his colleagues found a substance they called orexin that is deeply related to sleep. This discovery has shed new light on the mechanisms behind sleep. Orexin is a protein created in the hypothalamus. This part of the brain regulates sleep cycles and body temperature and is crucial to maintaining life. All mammals produce orexin in their brains. Yanagisawa conducted experiments with mice to find out just what this substance does. He created a genetically modified mouse whose body did not produce orexin and observed its behavior. He noticed the mouse would suddenly stop moving and fall asleep. The same thing happened over and over. This graph shows the sleeping pattern of a mouse that doesn't secrete orexin. The spikes indicate abnormal sleep when the mouse abruptly nodded off. It repeatedly fell asleep when it should have been awake. Yanagisawa also observed mice that do produce orexin. He says none of them suddenly fell asleep during their usual waking hours. Yanagisawa suspects that when orexin attaches itself to neurons that control sleep, the brain wakes up. He believes that when orexin isn't secreted, the neurons aren't stimulated, so the brain falls into a sleep state.
I had a hunch from the beginning that our research would lead to a very important discovery. In humans, orexin neurons are quite active during the day, and there's a lot of orexin in the brain. That's why people remain awake for a long time. But at night, as the amount of orexin falls, they start feeling sleepy and eventually fall asleep.
This groundbreaking finding has led to the development of a new drug that controls sleep. The drug is made by a U.S. pharmaceutical company. It inhibits orexin's function and promotes sleep. It's also prescribed in Japan. The drug blocks orexin from attaching to neurons that regulate sleep. That leads the brain into a natural sleep state. Conventional sleeping pills affect the entire brain. They induce sleep by lowering the activity level of all of the brain's neurons, including ones that have nothing to do with sleep. That can cause side effects, such as balance problems and memory impairment. But the new medication affects only the area of the brain related to sleep and wakefulness. Experts say there are fewer side effects and patients can achieve more natural sleep. Yanagisawa's team is developing yet another drug based on orexin research. The medication they're working on would help people stay awake. It would deliver a substance to the brain that is similar to orexin. This substance would stimulate neurons that regulate sleep, causing people to wake up. Orexin controls both sleep and wakefulness. Its discovery is opening new doors for helping people with sleep disorders that used to be difficult to treat.
In terms, Professor, in terms of the other applications for orexin, of course, I would imagine that it extends to other things as well. What sort of other applications will it have?
Our drug would have the same effect as orexin. I think it would definitely work on narcolepsy. People with narcolepsy fall asleep all the time because they lack orexin. Our drug would make up for the shortage. And it would help others too. People often feel sleepy when they need to be awake, such as when working or when they have jet lag. Some depression sufferers complain of drowsiness. And many commonly occurring brain illnesses, such as dementia, are often accompanied by sleepiness. Drugs for such diseases can have side effects that make people sleepy. These are all major challenges in clinical medicine. I think our drug has the potential to treat all kinds of sleepiness.
But it's such an exciting area to be involved in, where there are so many new discoveries, I think, to be made. Professor, you did talk a little bit about the adverse effects of sleep deprivation. Could you talk a little bit more about what else, sleep deprivation or chronic sleep deprivation, what it's linked to, what sort of diseases?
The best known example is a so-called lifestyle disease known as metabolic syndrome. Just a lack of sleep can cause people to become overweight. That can trigger insulin resistance and eventually lead to diabetes, or at least make a person susceptible to becoming diabetic. Blood pressure can also rise. Nothing good results from a lack of sleep. What's more, chronic sleep deprivation can increase the risk of depression and other mental and neurological disorders.
Professor, in terms of what we can do every day, what would you suggest every day that we can do to really improve our sleep? That I think the people listening, that they can implement today to improve the quality of the sleep.
Well, you can adjust your living environment by setting things like temperature, humidity, lighting, and sound at the right levels. And make sure your rooms are dark and quiet. It's very important to keep the temperature and humidity within a comfortable range. For some reason, many Japanese people think it's unhealthy to leave the air conditioner on all night long, but that's not true at all. If you turn off the AC at bedtime in the middle of summer, the room temperature could top 30 degrees Celsius. How could anyone sleep like that? And the government should make it clear to people that it's important for them to get a good night's sleep.
A number of different treatments are available for sleep disorders in Japan, and today we visited a clinic which specializes in sleep disorders, and we've come to see what's available on offer.
More than 3,500 people from around Japan come to this clinic for help every month. It has specialists who treat more than 90 different types of sleep disorders. The staff use advanced equipment to diagnose patients. They include an electroencephalograph and a sensor for breathing and snoring. They also use sensors for detecting leg movement. Patients spend one night at the clinic fitted with sensors. Fluctuations in their physical condition are monitored in detail. This graph shows a patient's breathing pattern. The sections where the lines rise and fall like waves indicate the patient is breathing. The flat parts mean breathing has stopped. The graph indicates that this person has sleep apnea. People with this condition stop breathing from time to time while asleep. They also tend to wake up repeatedly during the night. This is a graph of muscle activity in the legs. The area shown here indicates unconscious leg movement during sleep. This could be a sign of a condition known as restless leg syndrome, with symptoms that include tingling and itching. If it continues, sleep can become shallow, depriving the person of needed rest. But many patients with sleep disorders do not exhibit any abnormalities such as these. Instead, experts say an increasing number of cases are caused by lifestyle habits or stress. Take the example of Etsuko Shimoda. Several years ago, members of her family passed away. After that, she started having trouble sleeping. She took sleeping pills and tranquilizers prescribed by a local doctor, but they didn't solve her problem.
I lay in bed, unable to fall asleep for hours, wondering if I'd have a mental breakdown. During those sleepless hours, I surprised myself by thinking a number of times that being dead would be easier.
Shimoda eventually visited the sleep clinic. She was told to keep a daily record of the hours she slept. She recorded the details about when she went to bed, how many hours she slept, and when she got up. She usually went to bed between 10 and 11 o'clock at night, but she couldn't fall asleep right away. Sometimes she'd lie awake for as long as 2 hours.
When you're lying there for a long time and can't sleep, you start feeling frustrated and wonder why you can't fall asleep. That raises your stress level and makes it even harder to sleep. So the first thing I asked her to do was to go to bed later.
Shimoda followed Nakajima's advice and delayed going to bed until 11:30 p.m. Still, she had another problem. She wanted to get up at 5:30 every morning, but when she had trouble sleeping at night, she sometimes didn't wake up until 7. Nakajima told her to get up at 5:30 every morning, no matter what.
We asked our patients to get up at a fixed time every morning. That way, they can keep their body clock on a regular cycle and shorten the time they spend in bed.
At first, Shimoda couldn't get used to getting up at 5:30. She would occasionally feel drowsy during the day. So Nakajima suggested she fight off her sleepiness by engaging in physical activities, such as her hobby, badminton. He told her that taking a nap could keep her up at night. After following this new routine for 6 months, Shimoda finally returned to a regular sleep cycle. She has gradually reduced her dosage of sleeping pills. Now, she takes only 1/8 of a tablet every night.
I can sleep like a log now. There are times when I don't sleep well or have difficulty falling asleep, but when that happens, I tell myself, don't worry, it's okay. Now I know I can wake up feeling refreshed.
The clinic says through cognitive behavioral therapy, 40% of its patients have learned to fall asleep without taking sleeping pills.
Using drugs to treat sleep disorders is good if they work right away and if the patient continues to improve. But when drugs aren't effective enough, taking medicine for a long time can mean huge medical bills. If patients can change their lifestyles through this therapy while taking medications, treatment periods can become shorter, resulting in lower costs. We're still in the process of analyzing the benefits of our approach here in Japan. Eventually, we hope it will help people around the world.
Humans are said to spend 1/3 of their lives sleeping. Sleep disorders can increase the risk of heart disease and diabetes, and they can even affect our mental health. Good quality sleep is a prerequisite for a healthy and happy life. I hope that some of the cutting-edge research that Japan's currently working on will be able to help many people around the world that suffer from sleep disorders. Today we want to show you an easy-to-make pillow that can guarantee you a good night's sleep. It was developed by an orthopedic surgeon.
This orthopedic clinic offers advice on pillows. Shuori Yamada is the clinic's director. Her research into pillows has involved 100,000 people. She focuses on the pillow's shape and posture during sleep.
Do you feel like your whole head is lifted up? Is there any tightness in the throat? Not too bad?
Yamada has used magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, to examine people's necks. Specifically, she's looked at how posture during sleep affects the body. Her conclusion is that the most important thing is the height of the pillow.
Our necks contain important organs, such as nerves and blood vessels, like large arteries. They connect our brains with the rest of our bodies. If your pillow isn't right for you, your neck can wobble and your entire body doesn't get rested.
This is what happens to your neck when you sleep on a pillow of the appropriate height for your body. The vertebrae are generally straight, and there's no pressure on the nerves and blood vessels. This makes it possible to sleep well. Sleeping without a pillow causes the vertebrae to become too angled. This puts stress on the nerves and blood vessels and interferes with a good night's rest. We asked Yamada to show us her method for creating a custom pillow.
You need a floor mat, one on the firm side, and also a large bath towel. The bigger the better.
Okay, a big bath towel, like a big size. Okay. And then, okay, at the edge.
Put the edges exactly together, like this, and fold it this way, like an accordion, you see?
Okay, that's a very Japanese folding style. I don't think I can do that very well.
Line up the edges nicely on this side. This way, you can pull one layer at a time to adjust the height. Please lie down.
It feels quite comfortable. It feels really comfortable.
It's about right for you already. Now, let's check the height 3 ways: facing up, sideways, and rolling side to side. What's important is that you can inhale and exhale smoothly. Can you breathe easily?
Yeah, I feel that my breathing is very easy in this position.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay.
Very easy.
Very easy. Yes.
Let me make it a little lower. I'll remove just 2 layers.
So you've just taken 2 layers off?
Oh,
2 layers.
About 2 millimeters.
I think it's more comfortable before.
It was better before, right? Like this? The difference is only this much, see?
That's amazing.
Let's try again.
It feels completely different. So different, even that just the 2 millimeters, it feels so different.
That was for when you lie face up. Let's look at when you lie on your side and roll. Put your arms like this, with your hands against your collarbones, and raise your knees. Now turn on your side.
Because Yamada sensei, 私はすごい動きますよ。
動きますね。
The height is just right for this position. Your forehead, nose, and the center of your clavicles, the collarbones, are all lined up straight, more or less parallel to the floor. To roll over smoothly, you don't want an odd-shaped pillow. A flat one is best, so you can turn over in a smooth motion.
Because I think, how many times do people move at night?
People often move 20 or more times a night.
Really? So we move about 20 times a night, which means you really have to have a comfortable pillow and a very one to easily move. That's really interesting.
It's necessary for people to turn in their sleep. It improves blood circulation, eases stiffness in the shoulders, and adjusts the body temperatures too.
The clinic has received many inquiries about problems related to insufficient sleep. The staff responded by offering regular workshops on making a custom pillow.
The only time your neck doesn't have to support the weight of your head is when you're lying down. To rest your neck, it's important that you use a pillow that's right for you.
This easy-to-make custom pillow is gaining popularity around Japan. Yamada's staff is busy offering seminars nationwide.
In our modern society today, long working hours, night shifts, the internet, games and different devices keep us up late at night. I think we really need to review our lifestyle in order to address our sleep problems. But there are a lot of simple things that we can start doing from today. For example, things like letting sunlight in the room as soon as we wake up, allowing ourselves to relax for an hour or so before bed, as well as taking a break from technology before we sleep. Even though sleep in many ways is still a huge mystery, what we do know is that we should be prioritizing good quality sleep. Thank you so much and see you again next time.